You're listening to the Cat Breeder Sensei Says podcast, the show that supports the reputable breeding of pedigree cats. I'm your show host, April Catito, and this episode is a special mashup episode where we'll discuss a few different speed topics. The topics in this show are going to include being your own vet, early spay and neuter, emergency vet visits and what constitutes those, go-home bag ideas, and managing your data for your cattery. And we'll get to these topics right after this short message.
Do you want to learn how to become a successful breeder of pedigree cats? Now you can. For the first time ever, enroll in an online training course that takes you step by step through everything you need to know to get on the right track. Visit catbreedersensei.com to sign up today and use code podcast21 to get $25 off.
All right, we're back, and here is my disclaimer. Disclaimer. All of the information that you hear in this episode is based on my personal knowledge or my personal experience. You may certainly discover that you have a different experience than I do. The best way to do things is your way. Okay, so one of our first topics is going to be your own vet. And when I first started and I had some help from another breeder, she would always say that. She would always say, well, you have to be your own vet, and you have to be your own vet. And I didn't really know what she meant by that, but now I know what she means. It's really true. I mean, of course, we don't have degrees to be veterinarians, but when you're a pedigree cat breeder, you have to be able to diagnose common problems that come up in your cattery. Managing a multi-cat facility can be challenging. You know, their immune systems are vulnerable, and the feline husbandry has to be super on point. And even when all of that is top-notch, you're still going to deal with stuff. You're still going to have viruses and those sick kittens and URIs and diarrhea and these things that you're just going to have to treat. So instead of rushing to the vet every time you have a symptom that needs treatment, you got to be able to diagnose what this might be and treat those symptoms yourself, which means that you'll need your own pharmacy. And what I mean by that is just a little cabinet somewhere in your cattery that has some of your go-to medicines that you can treat some of these simple things for your cats and your kittens. So some of the things you want to include in your pharmacy is amoxicillin, which is a broad antibiotic, and you can do some research on dosage amounts and things that amoxicillin can treat and where to get amoxicillin without a prescription. Terramycin is ophthalmic antibiotic ointment for eyes if your cats or kittens get conjunctivitis or watery eyes. Terramycin is good to have on hand. Slippery elm bark is a natural supplement that you can use for upset tummies, both diarrhea and vomiting. It acts as a soothing mechanism and just kind of calms the stomach down if it's upset. Metronidazole is an antibiotic that is commonly used for diarrhea or GI issues. Probiotics are good to have on hand for digestion and upset tummies. Sub-Q fluids for dehydration in case you have a kitten that is vomiting or has diarrhea. You should also have kitten formula on hand if you have to supplement or bottle feed any babies. All right, let's talk about what constitutes a vet emergency. Now, this definitely isn't based on my personal experience because luckily I've not had any emergencies yet. But I listened to another podcast. It's called Ask the Vet with Dr. Jeff, and he's on Pet Life Radio. And he does telemedicine calls for patients. And that basically means that you can call him online through video using the internet and tell him what your pet is experiencing as far as symptoms, and he will basically tell you what he thinks might be wrong with your pet or your cat or your dog, and if he thinks you need to go to an emergency vet. And he says that he's done over 3,000 telemedicine calls, and only 5% of those actually are emergencies, and he lists 5 emergencies that would constitute going to the emergency room. Everything else, he says, can wait until the vet is open and you can go during regular hours. These 5 things are eye injuries, large open wounds that are bleeding, ingestion of a toxic item, snake bites, and in cats, straining to urinate and nothing is coming out. So those would all constitute an emergency vet visit. And I'll also add in, because he doesn't talk a lot about the breeding animals, if your queen that is in labor seems to be in any type of distress or there's excessive blood, if you sense that she's not right or in any type of distress, then that would constitute an emergency vet visit. The early spay and neuter topic. So very controversial amongst people. There's kind of two ways that you can do it. You can early spay and neuter, which means take care of the surgery before the kittens leave and go to their new home, so it's already taken care of and you don't have to worry about it, and the new owners don't have to worry about it. And then there's another arrangement where the kitten leaves intact and there's a contract for the buyer to agree to spay and neuter the kitten before a certain age. Some breeders require that it's done by 6 months, and some require that it's done by 12 months old. Whatever the contract says, that's what the buyer is expected to live by. So spay or neuter their kitten before a certain age, and when they do and provide proof, then the registration papers are then handed over to the new owner. Well, this could present a problem for those people who say they want to, quote, just breed the cat one time and have one litter of kittens, end quote. Those people want to breed the cat and have kittens and give one to everybody in their family, and you really don't want your pedigree kitten going through that and ending up in the wrong hands. So you have to think about your pros and your cons when you're deciding whether to do early spay or neuter. I really would like to get a guest veterinarian on the show, so if you know one that might be willing to do an interview here and educate us on the risks and the rewards of early spaying and neutering, I'd love to have someone on just to kind of educate everyone that listens to the show on this topic, because it's arguable. I breed Maine Coons, which is a very large breed, and I see so many people that think you shouldn't early spay and neuter a Maine Coon because they are slow to mature and you should let them develop before you spay and neuter them. And I actually did my contract where the new owners agreed to spay and neuter before 7 months old, and I've not had a single issue with anyone. Of course, I pre-screen and vet my buyers very well, but that doesn't mean that one or two won't slip through the cracks. But so far, knock on wood, I've had no issues. And I just changed my policy where now they will be early spayed and neutered before they go home. And quite honestly, I feel way better about them just leaving, already spayed and neutered. I don't have to worry about it. Once they leave, I know it's taken care of. I don't have to follow up with the new owners and make sure they did it. I've had to kind of chase down a couple of people and say, hey, you agreed to do this by 7 months. You need to send me proof, and kind of nag a little bit. I didn't really like doing that. And they did it, and I got the proof, but I just don't really like to do that. I would rather just take care of it, and when the kittens leave, I know that they're spayed and neutered, and nobody's going to be out there doing any backyard breeding, and you guys know what that means. So some go home bag ideas. So some common items you'll see in a go home bag, or their little goodie bag, is kitten food, toys, instructions on how to care for the kitten, stuff like that. That's kind of what you see in everybody's go home bag. How about we throw something in for the owners, right? That's something that other breeders don't do. Most of the things are for the kitten and things for him to play with, but why not throw in a nice bottle of wine or a gift card and actually put a little tickler note in your file to send the kitty a birthday card every year to keep you in the owner's thoughts. And let them know that you're thinking of them and the kitty. And it's a good idea just to keep in contact with all of your owners throughout the life of the cat. It's nice to just keep up with them and, make sure that they're okay. Managing your business. What do you use to manage your data? Your medical records, your pedigrees, your DNA test, your contracts, all of your buyer info with their contact information, and your kitten database. Where do you keep all that stuff? Are you still using a spreadsheet? Please say no. that's so far behind in technology that I almost want to cry if I think about people trying to use a spreadsheet to manage any type of data. If you want an all-in-one solution to managing your cattery and all of the administrative stuff, then go to the website catbreedersensei.com, and in the top menu look for iFeline. It's software for pedigree cat breeders, and there's lots of videos. You can see, what all it can do for you. It's very, very robust and very powerful. I'm not talking it up enough, believe me, what everything it can do, but just to kind of get you on a basic feature list, just see if it's something that you think will fit in your cattery. I think you will love it. I use it in my cattery and honestly couldn't remember anything without it. Well, that is it for our Mashup episode. I kind of like this. It was short and sweet and to the point and covered 5 actually really good topics and just was like a little, speed podcast. I like it. I'll probably do these, more often. Okay, you guys make good choices and be safe out there. I'll be seeing you later. Bye.